My bounce native hip hop on the come up. It's like we hitchhiked twice the height with our two thumbs up. We pointing to the sky, we're yelling, that's what's up. No money in my bankroll, but I ain't sold. You propose, we oppose. You have cons, we have pros. Where the pipelines go, the waters flow. You reap, you sow, we'll keep our soul.
My name is Craig Frank Eades. I have a Hungarian, Scottish, Irish, German, Gitsan background. I'm Frog Clan. My house name is Hal. I grew up in Houston, British Columbia. It's about an hour and a half away from my nation and my village, which is Kasan and Gittimax. I do make it back to my home for every feast if I can. Within the culture, it's really nice to just like have what they call a sa'a bag, which is a food bag, and you just come with your utensils and get to take part and witness, and like there's no price they could put on witness. So if you're there, it's something very powerful.
My name is Travis Hebert. In the music, I go by Heebz the Earthchild. I have a Korean Métis background, but I live in Wet'suwet'en territory and have done so ever since I was in grade 4. I lived a super nomadic life as a child, moving around from place to place. There's been an absence of culture in my upbringing, I feel. And within the last how many years, that's been my biggest journey, is finding myself.
I'ma go back in on our coastahedrons by the coast region. Float on sea beams, dive down as we descend. Going off the deep end, the deep ends on defense. We send our souls down to feed and feel. No repents and heal and ascend. As I watch a seal swim, make medicine wheels spin. This rats can feel zen. Buddha to pick your mood up. Move up to this place of mind, state of mind.
There's been some times in my life that have been hectic, I guess. Challenging. You know, as a child, you don't understand like what's going on in your life, so you just roll with it.
I started being exposed to drugs and alcohol at a very young age, and me and my best friend at the time started experimenting, and it just got too carried away. And in our grade 12 year, he went missing at our grad. It was pretty crazy. He was like, I promise we'll be back, and then he never came back.
I dealt with shame of who I was. I was always trying to be like, you know, different than who I was or what my family setting was in some cases. You know, dealing with racism, low self-esteem. I was always, you know, different. I was like the curly-haired native kid who looked different.
I just like quit drinking. I started working with like youth. As a youth, helping out with like foster kids and hosting sweats and stuff, and just had a really good time from there. Being in Vancouver, there wasn't too much of a struggle for me when it came to supporting that sobriety, especially after my past with toxic relationships. Within the Native community, everybody there seems to be super conscious and supportive of every decision you make, and I'd get people coming up to me and being like, I seen you cheers that girl with water, like, that's cool, you know?
Children who were taken and neglected, dreaming of identity will soon be perfected by intergenerational survivors affected.
Hip-hop has always been our vehicle, our way of communicating our message across, but for me personally, I grew up listening to a lot of classic rock, a lot of like CCR. My father, he was even into like the grunge scene. I grew up listening to like Nirvana, Nevermind on cassette, like every day on the way to school in his truck, and like feeling super cool. Listening to the Rolling Stones. From there, I sort of got to pick and choose the hip hop and rap I liked. It all inspires the lyrical content.
Music has always been a part of my life. I come from a pretty musical family and background. A lot of the people in my family have played country music, and I grew up, listening to country music, blues, like Métis fiddle. And my grandfather was a Métis fiddler. My uncle picked up the fiddle, and I had an uncle who played steel guitar. I think grade 5, when I started playing drums, like that was when I really started to pick up music, because it was therapeutic to me. Like just the whole concept of drumming and getting this energy out and creating a sound and vibration around you. It was very healing for me. That creative expression became my escape from reality. So that's the place I would go.
I'm social with that mad gap.
My resistance is focused.
The monument of existence.
Me and Travis grew up listening to like whatever, and he was a huge influence on me when I was young, and me and him started making music at a super young age. And he would write songs for the both of us when I was like in elementary school still.
The first time I met Craig is when I believe I was in grade 4 and he was in grade 2. And we went to the same school. One lunchtime, I was out chilling, and Craig was at the jungle gym, just like playing with Spider-Man toys and like hanging out. He was a couple years younger than me, but I didn't care. So I just like walked up to him and just remember being like, "Oh, you got Spider-Man?" And he's like, "Yeah, you want to play? I got an extra one." And I was, hey, this kid's nice. So we would hang out, and eventually we got into, rapping and making music together. And it was just for fun.
We would put on shows for his little brother and make up fake CD covers. We started doing some actual recording. When it first started off, it was like I got a PC computer, we taped a karaoke mic to the monitor, really simple stuff, working with what we had.
We started getting our ideas out, and it's like we just started creating this whirlwind of thoughts, which slowly turned into action, and you look at us today, and that's become our healing tool.
How culture pains me, even though hip-hop saved me sounds crazy. I love the struggle, because the struggle is what made me.
What I feel about my lyrical content is that it's the spirit materializing a message through me. Part of my intent with that is that it connects with other people. Being aware, it's like you understand your surroundings and the energy around you, and you have the opportunity to create your life.
I feel like our music is good for the youth and for the people who need healing, in the sense that we bring terminology to that social awareness. Eventually, there's just layers and layers that we'll peel apart, and it creates a lot of healing for the youth who had to experience a lot of the same things that, say, me and Travis experienced within our communities. And now we are there, and I'm in this same friendship center that I went to as a youth, teaching the kids how to make beats, or writing a hip-hop verse to their song. It's not about how bad you can be, it's about how good you are. And I would say that, like, don't stop just because somebody at school discredits you or something. That's happened to me a bunch throughout my life, but it's never stopped me any. And you don't have to be great to start. Nobody ever really is. But the thing is you do have to be, you have to start to be great.
When your spirit is cloaked by fear, you're not able to see things properly. But we're all come up from, different backgrounds and different nations, and we've all built our identities. These times are for us to come together.
We are the teachers, the messengers for the future of our mother, the youth, the peace era.
Mob Bounce is just about community. It's about the incorporation of every art medium. If it's a collaboration, that's Mob Bounce.
A native hip-hop group that doesn't really classify itself as a hip-hop group. We don't limit ourselves to a genre. Mob is a crew of people. Bounce means, people moving forward together. It's all about people from all different backgrounds, and we want to share a story from this perspective.
It resonates because everybody's had their background sort of stripped away from them at one point.
Somehow our intelligence has gone beyond that connection to nature. We like to think of ourselves as something higher than, and we're not. And we're all Earth's children, and we need to respect our mom.
We live in an unsustainable world where we commodify things too much, and when we do that, we're taking it from our children. This earth is borrowed from the children, and there are always going to be children here, because it's a monument of our existence.
We're on this path of, not only bringing mob bounce back to the community to make a difference in our own community, to make sure that people around us are finding their potential and finding that happiness for themselves, but we'll be able to connect with other communities and other people who resonate.
Yeah. How can hip-hop thrive if most are just reiterating negative vibes, influencing youth to substitute pop culture for cultural